you're new here, my name is Allie, and today is the beginning of my Valloween. I am going to be participating in Jan Agaton's Jante Inferno this year, and I'm really stoked about it. First found out about this readathon last year. I don't know how many years she's been doing this, but last year I seen it, but it was already like halfway through, and I just wasn't able to participate in time. But I did see like all of the concepts and like posts about like their TBR, all the little visuals and prompts and all of that, and it looked so cool that this year I had to join. If you don't know about this readathon, it is hosted by Jan. I will have her link down below, and it is the 9 levels of hell. By the time you guys are watching this, it is over, but I'm gonna take you guys along with me for my first time and just to see if I can escape the 9 levels of hell. But this is gonna kind of be my Valentine's vlog. I have some projects I wanna do during this video while I'm getting through this TBR. And while I'm going to try to check in as much as possible, this could have not happened at a busier time for me. Like, it is busy right now. I am wrapping up a couple books, so bear with me, especially these first few days. It may just be check-ins whenever I finish a book, but these are the prompts, the 9 levels. The idea is to read a book for each prompt to escape that level. Now, Jan did say you can double up prompts if they're consecutive, which I appreciate because I'm going to have to use that because I just don't think I'm gonna be able to get through these 9 books in the next 10 days with the other books that I'm reading too. And I think I'm gonna surprise you guys with my TBR because I don't have them all physically. A couple I think are just gonna be audiobook reads. Some of them I'm still playing with the prompts and trying to see like what I could read for them. But I'm going to try to pick books outside of my comfort zone at the same time because I do want to read something for Valentine's Day. I don't really know if I'm in the mood for an actual romance or contemporary romance, so it's probably still going to be more horror driven, but we'll see. I'm gonna surprise you guys with each book as we escape these levels of hell. The first level is Betray Your TBR. I prepared for this one, although the whole idea of this prompt is to betray your TBR by picking a book that is like on the whim, like going to the library and grabbing a book off, you know, audiobook app, whatever the case may be. For me, I tried doing that. I'm not gonna lie, this is a book that has intrigued me. I've actually requested it from my library before and just didn't have time for it and took it back. So it's just kind of one of those that like, I was like, I don't have to get to it, it is whatever. But I was at my library the other day picking up holds and just kind of walking around, and I earlier in the day had got the notification that my Libby app, the book became available because I guess I've had it on hold for a while. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like right in time for Valloween. And I was walking down my library and I seen this on the shelf. And I was like, so now I have the physical and the audiobook, and both of them are from my library. They're not really on my TBR, or it's not really on my TBR. So I'm just gonna go with it. It is still very horror, it looks like from the cover, but at the same time, maybe a good, like, at least Valloween pick. I don't know what to think of this, but it's Love Letters to a Serial Killer by Tasha Coryell. I've never read anything by Tasha, but I am excited to get into this one. It does say, P.S. please don't kill me. Hoping that this book will help me escape the first level of hell, and I will check back in with you guys with some progress. Okay. Synopsis time. An aimless young woman starts writing to an accused serial killer while he awaits trial, and then, once he's acquitted, decides to move in with him and take the investigation into her own hands in this dark and irresistibly compelling debut thriller. Whoa.
Penguin Random House Audio presents Love Letters to a Serial Killer by Tasha Coryell. Read for you by Andy Arndt. To anyone who has ever felt unappreciated. Part 1. Chapter 1. Undisclosed location. I didn't plan to fall in love with an accused serial killer. Nevertheless, my wrists and ankles are bound to a chair, and I can blame only myself.
I made it to chapter 8. And I am really vibing with this main character. What's her name? Hannah. We don't really hear her name, I don't think, a whole lot. But she kind of talks about, like, her love life is not great, like, her past, and then, like, her most recent guy who ghosted her, and then, like, she was showing up at, like, his concert because he's, like, in this small rock band, and how he had a new girl. Now she's, like, obsessed with, like, stalking his socials because, you know, she can't get over it, and why can't she be that person for him, and he never wanted to post them two together, but now he's posting this new girl, and all of that. At the same time, she works for, like, this nonprofit, and she, at work, is always, like, an armchair detective on this site, and the first missing girl popped up, and she became obsessed. So it's like she's kind of becoming obsessed with true crime, and you have these people in the forum that, like, she's reading through, like, saying, oh, you guys are obsessed with, like, true crime and stuff like that. And she's like, no, like, she, like, explains it to somebody, and they're like, oh, so, like, you're, you know, one of those, like, obsessed with, like, serial killers. And she's like, I'm not obsessed with serial killers, but, like, I'm obsessed with justice and, like, finding justice for these people. And the author, though, like, makes a chapter for, like, each girl who's went missing and whose body has been found. And I found that was really interesting because it is showing these people's lives before they were taken and killed. And while I haven't minded the way it's been written so far, because I was kind of nervous, like, how intense it was going to be, and then, like, how nonchalant and just kind of heartless the main character was going to be, because she's going to fall for this guy who potentially did these things. I will say the beginning starts out with, like, her literally saying, I didn't plan to fall in love with an accused serial killer. Nevertheless, my wrists and ankles are bound to a chair and I can blame only myself. So, like, I think shit's gonna hit the fan, but is that, like, I almost feel like it's too easy if he actually is the perp. First, like, tone deaf, I feel like, moment was, this was literally at the end of, like, chapter 2. I never learned the exact time of Annalie's death. Her body was too far gone for that, but forensic analysts suggested that as I unwrapped a frozen pizza that had been in my freezer for so long that I couldn't remember when I bought it, Annalie's mangled body was being dumped into the ravine. Already, vermin had begun to burrow their way into her skin as I bit into my pizza and burned the roof of my mouth. This was not to suggest that being murdered and being shunned by a boy that I wasn't even in a real relationship with were equivalent, but to say that it was a bad time for a lot of us. And I'm just like, what? Like, sick comparison. Besides that, though, like, I am vibing with her. She now becomes obsessed with trying to solve this on this forum with all these other people, and she even gets one of her coworkers obsessed with it, until finally there's a link. This guy, William, is linked to all of them, and he is, like, the guy. And now that it's been solved, she says, I tried to move on with my life. With the killer caught, the forum died down, and slowly I returned to my regular internet usage. I was empty without the urgency. I went to work. I tried a new group class at the gym. I got a sourdough starter from a friend and made 2 loaves before I forgot about it in the fridge. I started knitting a blanket and gave up after I made too many mistakes to possibly fix. I took a cooking class with a friend and spent a week thinking that I should quit my job to become a chef, and changed my mind after getting food poisoning from undercooked fish. I completed 3 days of a 30-day clean eating challenge. I'm just like, this is so relatable. For me, anyways, when it comes to, like, constantly, like, getting in a rut and then trying new things. But she's not the absolute best character ever, but I am having a good time with it.
Away, all my really close friends. Kicking through the crib, no sentimental, what up? If you come by my house, could it really hit us? Till the lights on my laptop burn up. You know I said I heard you, you know I said I heard you. It's time to cover right now. Thinking how the fuck I ended somehow. By my tongue, could put it on me. If I heard you wrong, you could put it on me. Got no baggage, I'm okay. No FaceTime for this face. It's a 45-minute drive from the west side back to my place. I'm stuck on 405, like 405.
Productive day. I've been editing. I made a Starbucks run. I've been working on my planner and getting my recent like quarterly plans video. You guys can check it out. I talked about my quarterly plans. No, but I did a little flip through of my journal and like the setup and plans with it. I pulled some pics from my TBR jar, and I also talked about like project plans, like crochet, cross stitch if you're interested in any of that stuff, that I plan on getting to the next few months. So yeah, I've been working on that. It's kind of been a beast of a video. I did not think it was going to be that intense since it's just a sit down talk video, but it was. But I did finish Love Letters to a Serial Killer, and I actually quite enjoyed my time with this one. I think it really came down to just being curious and nosy and wanting to know what was going on. I feel like it's a story about a girl who is nosy and wants to know what's going on with this claimed serial killer, but I feel like I almost had the same connection to her that she did to him, of me being like, I want to be in this girl's head and know, what is she thinking? Like, why is she liking this? Why is she wanting this? And it literally is somebody falling in love with a person that they believe is a serial killer. It's not even like, sure, he's acquitted, he's, you know, not legally arrested and, you know, pleading guilty to these crimes, but he's also like, obviously he's pleading not guilty, but like, he really doesn't say anything to her like, I'm not guilty, I didn't do these things. Like, he just doesn't. And they exchange these letters back and forth for so long. He asks her to be his girlfriend, and she ends up like just dropping everything. Work, social life, which all were kind of like being depleted anyways because she was so consumed by all of this. But it's just wild. The lengths she went to, it literally is kind of, it just took me back to like watching documentaries about Ted Bundy and like all the girls that would like write to him, and then him finding love while he was going through his trial and everything, and then like them getting married and everything, having a baby. Like, it literally is that, but we get the inside source as to this woman and her connection with this guy. And honestly, in the back of her head, she keeps thinking like, he's gonna be accused, like he's gonna be found guilty. I'm not gonna have to be with him or live with him, but I can still be his girlfriend from afar. I like these letters he's writing me, blah, 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 blah. Then he's acquitted. And she's like, oh shit. And he's like, well, you're gonna come back home with me. And then he's like, super well off, wealthy, and he's like, you just stay home and write your book and I will go and work, and he like takes care of her. And honestly, I was vibing with like their chemistry and the relationship, but at the same time, you're keeping it at arm's length because like anything could happen. And although I can't say some of it was very predictable towards the end, I do really like that the story went in different directions, because I feel like after the whole trial and all of that, I feel like those in the letters, those were like the main bits of the story that you're going to eat up, that you're going to love, in my opinion. To where then it kind of, they're living together, it kind of falls off. It's like you need something else, you need something extra, like the ball has to drop. I think it was fun, the direction they went into, and you know, how it was ended with this type of more real life story. But at the same time, it was just, I don't know. It was a wild time, but I did enjoy it. I think I am landing at a 4-star. And I know I'm awkwardly sitting here and you're probably wondering what's going on. I have my skincare little you know, spinny thing here because I am running out of certain things. So I'm trying to go through my stash and replenish some things, if you will. I am out of my nightly night cream or eye cream. So I have my tub of eye creams right here that I'm gonna go through and figure out which one I want to try next. I've just been using this Tula Skincare Glow and Get It Cooling and Brightening Eye Balm for my mornings because it's just like so refreshing and awakening that I want to have like a thicker, like heavy duty eye cream for at night. I have this one from Nip and Fab Renew. It's a retinol eye treatment. It says retinol fix though. So I don't know if that's like a every night situation. I kind of want to get through some of my like sample ones, so I might do that. I think I'm going to put these two. I have tried this Dermalogica one and liked it. It's an Awaken. Yeah, I may not want to do that one. This one's Niacinamide Caffeine Eye Bright Cream. They both just seem like daytime things. I do have this one, JLo Beauty, that Fresh Take. I might try this one for night because I think it's like a thicker cream. I'm not a huge fan of JLo's packaging for the price point of her skincare, but what I can say is formula-wise, I've actually enjoyed the things I've tried from it so far. I'm also out of my night serum. I've been using the L'Oreal Midnight Cream and Serum. I finally ran out of the serum. I love this stuff, you guys. I've been using it for months now. Love it. But I'm literally like bottom of the barrel. Like it's almost completely gone. A couple more nights and it's gone. So I am going to be using the Glow Recipe Plump Hyaluronic Serum at nighttime. I've already used this before. I like it. I just need to finish it up. And then same for this It Cosmetics. What is it? Confidence in a Cream. I still have quite a bit left, but I just need to finish it up. So I need to stop opening new things and just use up the things that I already have open. So that's kind of like what I'm hoping to do. But yeah, I needed to add a few new things to my skincare. And I also have a couple tubs of like masks. I just ran out of my like clay mask, so I need to figure out which one I want to use next. But yeah, I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update. I am now on to the next level of hell, or the next 2 levels of hell, with Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. Good morning, you guys. Today I am gonna do a masking situation because I haven't really got ready yet. Just realized this mask that I have is completely dried out. So I gotta grab another one. Just so happen to have the same exact mask, but in a squeezy tube. I have used this one before. It's from Generation Clay. Ultraviolet Brightening Purple Clay Mask. But I definitely need a little detox moment going on. You guys, first of all, Butcher and Blackbird, I just might be going through my dark romance era because, dare I say, I'm liking this one even more than the last book. I didn't really think I would be a Butcher and Blackbird girly. I honestly went into this because I wanted something for Valentine's Day, and while this isn't going to be like everybody's cup of tea for Valentine's Day, it's not going to be like what everybody is going to find cute and appealing, but I just really didn't think I was in the mood for anything too contemporary, although it's very contemporary. I guess like by contemporary, I just mean just a contemporary romance where there's not much more to the story than just the fact that it's a rom-com, 2 people falling in love, and that's literally it. And if that is your vibe, if that is your appeal, there's nothing wrong with that. I just know right now that's not really like what I'm wanting to pick up. I don't know what it is about me right now, but I'm not in the mood for a bunch of romance right now. But I think this is changing my mind. I'm not sure what that says about me. but it's just not what I was expecting. And I'm not like enough into it to be able to tell you how cringy the spice scenes are going to be yet. But I'm actually surprised at how far I have gotten and how much of a slow burn the romance is. We follow Sloane and Rowan, who are both serial killers, but it's kind of like a Dexter twist. When a chance encounter sparks an unlikely bond between rival murderers, Sloane and Rowan, they find themselves elusive. The friendship of two like-minded, pitch-black souls who just happen to enjoy killing other serial killers. So they go on like killing sprees, like killing like the bad people, the other serial killers. And they have people that they're friends with, like Sloane is friends with Lark, which the second book is Leather and Lark. And then Rowan has 3 brothers, so I've already pieced together that I'm sure one of the brothers is with Lark in the second book. But him and his 3 brothers have a restaurant, and behind the scenes, his brothers help him, or one of his brothers like help like track down serial killers for him, and then Rowan goes and gets the job done, while the other one is kind of like the behind the scenes guy, and then the other brother is a doctor. Sloane is kind of like a one gal job, get it done, although she has her best friend, Lark, who she depends on a lot. And we kind of get a little bit of why they're so close, why Lark knows what Sloane does, and all of that with their history, which I thought was pretty cool to have. The hard part is that Sloane and Rowan live far away from each other. It's a long distance friendship for a long time. It's slowly blooming into something. I feel like it's a little bit more fast paced for us because this book skips months and months and months all the time, because what happens is they meet and then they decide that they're going to do this game every year. And it's where Rowan's brother comes up with the serial killer they're going to go after, and then they're both placed in the same area as him, and whoever gets to him, kills him first, wins. But there's also like this budding romance that like the spark, it's kind of like an electric spark between the two of them, but like they're not testing it at all, and it's just like that slow burn with it. But again, it's even more slow burn for them, because then it'll be like 6 months later and it's like, whoa, or it's been 6 months and I haven't seen her, or it's been 6 months and I haven't seen him. So it does pick up a little bit faster for us, but I'm actually so shocked, because I was like, ooh, is this going to be one of those things where they're trying to make it a slow burn, but for real, it's just going to be like so fast and insta love moment going on, but technically it's not, because they keep skipping 6 months. But really, she did a phenomenal job of like making this a slow burn. Like, I'm just now getting to the point where I'm just like, okay, it's about to pick up, it's about to happen. And there has been like really sweet, like swoon-worthy moments. I am terrified on how the spice scenes are going to be though, because some of the thoughts they're already having about each other, I'm like, whoa. But I just know it's going to be very graphic. And if you follow my channel, you know I don't read a lot of romance. I don't read a lot of smut. And anytime I've picked up a fantasy or any type of romance book that has a little bit of erotica in it, it's not that I'm a prude and I just don't want that at all. It's just, I feel like there's a way to go about it to where like it doesn't take away from the story. So many books I feel like build up such exciting stories and plots, and then the spice scene happens and then it's just the spice for the rest of the book, and I'm like, what? Like, wrap up the plot. Don't give me just like 10 pages at the end to wrap it up. Like, give me more than that. And so that's where I fall off with it a lot. And I'm really hoping that this book doesn't do that, because I feel like it's building up to that, where it's going to be like they can't keep their hands off each other type of ordeal, which is fine. But again, like, I'm enjoying the parts where they are actually serial killers. I think it's super interesting, and them tracking down people, and not just that, but they both have like their own techniques when it comes to, you know, like how serial killers do. They have like their own things that they do every single time. And Sloane's is so cool. She is called like the, or what is it, Weaver orb Weaver, something like that. It's like a spider type of situation where after she, you know, does the job, she like plucks their eyes out and like certain parts of their body and like ties it all up, glues it to like the string and stuff, and makes like a web out of it. And if like the law enforcement or like FBI or whatever comes in and like is looking into it, if they follow her web the way that she has it, you know, all laid out, they can, it's almost like a map for them to figure out why this person died, because he was a serial killer and like these are his, you know, what he's done. These are his past victims or whatever. So it's like she's doing it in a web, but it's like a map for the FBI to figure out who the person is that they just killed, the serial killer, and like who the serial killer, you know, what he was. Pretty much just giving them the lowdown, like, here's your guy. These are the ones that he's done. There you go. But it's just really cool. I really like how it's written so far. The audiobook is cool because it's like a duet. In between every single chapter, we follow one or the other, but every time the other character talks, it's like the male doesn't change his voice to like a higher pitched for the girl. Like the girl's voice will actually come in. So it's like them having a conversation, almost like podcast vibes, on terms of like the setup of it, but or feeling like you're right there with them. It's really cool. I've enjoyed it. I've had to slow my speed down just a little bit, mainly on the guy's chapters because of his accent. It makes it a little bit harder, I guess, like sped up for me to keep up with him. And he talks a little faster, so I don't mind it slow down. Like that's what I always lose my attention on, it when they talk too slow. I can actually listen at a semi-normal, decent speed because the guy talks so fast, so I like that. But yeah, I will let you guys know what I think of this. I'm going to have a pretty casual day. I'm going to take this off in a minute. I was wanting to do some type of craft today, and I'm thinking about playing with some clay, maybe making like a little Valentine's Day, or starting it because I know it's gonna have to dry. But I've wanted to make like different little centerpieces for our living room, for our table, like for certain holidays and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about doing like maybe like X's and O's, but like X's and hearts, like tic-tac-toe board type of vibe. I don't know. I'm gonna play with it, finish this book, and then I'm going to jump straight to Onyx Storm, the third book in the Fourth Wing series. And I'm mentioning it now because I'm going to jump straight into it. I feel like it's going to be really hard for me to talk too much on it because it is a continuation. And I don't want to spoil that for anybody. So I'll at least let you guys know the vibes and how I'm feeling about it, if it's keeping my attention, if it's a good third book in the series and all of that. It's long. It'll be very brief, I guess, the next couple of days finishing it.
Nothing but the look on my face. Making pictures don't belong in DMs. I've been trying to find out who the fuck I am. Pull me in, need a really tight print. Push away all my really close friends. Kick into the curb, no sentimental, what up? If you come by my house, could it really hurt us? Till the lights on my laptop burn up. You know I said I heard you, you know I said I heard you. It's time to come for right now. Thinking how the fuck I'll end it somehow. Bite my tongue and drown it all out. Tired of the taste of blood in my mouth. Wait up, I can't respond right now. Wait up, I might be gone right now. Wait up, just know you're coming in loud. Just know I heard you by now. And if I heard you wrong, you could put it on me. If I heard you wrong, you could put it on me.
So this is day 4 of me checking in, but it's technically day 5 of the readathon. Yesterday was the Super Bowl, so that means I participated for the food and the halftime show. It was just a very casual, lazy day. One, I started my like crochet devil horns that I've been wanting to make for a while. I still have progress that I need to make on that. I didn't get to finish them because I'm still working like on a sweater. But besides that, it was just food. And I finished Butcher and Blackbird, and I'm going to talk about this while I do my nails, because I did my nails the other day. I don't even know if I showed you guys, but I used a really old nail polish, and the first time I swiped it on my finger, I was like, oh, this is a bad idea. And it was in fact a bad idea, but I wanted like a really dark red for Valentine's Day. So I swung by Ulta and picked up a few different shades from OPI. I just got a black Onyx. And then I got this like really, you guys, in this lighting you can't tell, but this is purple. After Dark. Ooh, it says Lincoln Park After Dark. And then I got the blues for red. Just really dark. So I'm going to paint my nails while I talk to you guys about Butcher and Blackbird. And we're just going to ignore the hair. At this point, it's doing what it wants to do. Did I end up loving this book? A little more than I would like to say. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I just really love this author's writing and the pacing of this book, or if I really was just super intrigued with the whole storyline of these two people who are serial killers themselves, but they kill other serial killers, and now they're getting together, and the slow burn of it and all the things. But I'm not gonna lie, the spy scenes, dare I say, they're more intense than Katie Robert books. And that's saying a lot. Like, it's probably the most intense on the spice that I think I've ever read before. And it was a lot. It was a little jarring. But I don't know. I really vibed with the characters. I thought it was cutesy at time, their relationship. There definitely was the miscommunication trope that I typically don't like, but I honestly didn't really mind it for the way that she went about it. I feel like she did it in a way to where it was a major slow burn for them because it would skip like 6 months. And if that felt more like 6 months, I probably would have been like, oh, this is annoying. I hate this, because I do hate the miscommunication trope, but since it was so fast-paced for us and not like dragging things out, I feel like that's why I kind of am able to like let that slide a little bit more. It doesn't bother me as much, although it was still there. So if you don't like that trope either, it may be like a letdown for you. But they're so cute. But they do like the darkest shit, and it's just like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a dark romance girly more than I thought I was. I don't know. I can't tell you guys right now if this is a 4 or 5. I want to give it a 5, so I feel like I should be easy on myself and just give the book a 5. But at the same time, just like, there's just so many aspects of this that would be too spoilery to talk about that like I was just kind of like, oh, you know, like I was still enjoying the end of the book because I liked the characters and like where it was going and stuff. But even thinking about finishing this, like it kind of leaves us a little bit on like a cliffhanger. So I'm like, oh, maybe I will pick up the next book. Although I'm pretty sure the next 2 books in this trilogy are set on different people, but I'm just like, I just want to follow them. I don't want to follow anybody else. So I don't know. I'm just having a hard time with it. I can't believe I'm cheesing over romance. This is the first I've cheesed over romance in so long. Anyways, I'm finishing up my nails. And then we're going to have a casual night. James is picking up food tonight and we're just gonna hang out here. I'm gonna work some more on my devil horns, and I finished that yesterday. I went straight into Onyx Storm, the third book from the fourth wing. What is it called? Empyrean? I can't remember. Series from Rebecca Yarros. I don't have the physical to like hold up for you guys, so I'll throw it up. I'm sure you guys know. It's everywhere. I'm finally getting to this book, and you guys, I think a reread of the first two would have been super handy, because I spent the first like quarter of this book being like, who's that? I have no idea. And then I'm just like, my memory, I feel like came back of like what events took place at the end of the second book. But like, besides that, it's like my brain is just like, memory of it is gone. I don't know what's going on. I'm just like, I don't know who this person is. Who's this person they're referencing? What? I remember the dragons, but I don't remember the people. I don't know. I had a really hard time for like the first, I feel like 50% of the book, but now it's like really like picking up, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I honestly thought I was going to, because I had kind of a rocky vibe with the second book. But I think I have been enjoying this installment more than the last. I think she said that she's not coming out with another one until 2027. I think it's like in 2 years. So I think by the time the next one comes out, I'll be ready to do a full reread of the first three. And I think it'll really help. But I feel like it's starting, I'm starting to pick up the characters, but there's still some that I'm like, who were they in the first and second book? And I hate that. I wish that I was a little bit more involved with it. I think reading all three of them back to back will be really beneficial before jumping into the fourth one. But hopefully I will be able to finish it. I feel like it's reading pretty quickly, which is a good thing because it is a big book. The audiobook is over 20 hours, which I do speed up, so it won't be as long, but it's still a pretty long book.
I'm as bad as a notification tone. Sorry, been keeping this whole conversation cold. I'm like ice on skin, my hands shivering. Will I get over being over? Naked pictures don't belong to DMs. I've been trying to find out who the fuck I am. Pull me in, need a really tight pinch. Push away, I'm a really close friends. Kick into the cooler, no sentimental what up. If you come by my house, could it really hit us? Till the lights on my laptop burn up. You know I said I heard you, you know I said I heard you. It's undercover right now. Thinking how the fuck I'm in this somehow. Bite my tongue and drown it all out. Tired of the taste of blood in my mouth. Wait up, I can't respond right now. Wait up, I might be wrong right now. Wait up, just know you're coming in loud. Just know I heard you by now. And if I heard you wrong, you could put it on me. If I heard you wrong, you could put it on me. Got no baggage, I'm okay. No FaceTime for this face. It's a 45-minute drive from the west side back to my place. I'm stuck on 4 or 5, like 4 or 5. But a lot of time is just think. Got a lot of shit on my plate. Gotta get my head on straight. By the time I said it's over now, I'm gone by yesterday. By the way, it's all the ways. If you couldn't tell, nothing by the look on my face. Naked pictures don't belong to DMs. I've been trying to find out who the fuck I am. Pull me in, need a really tight pinch. Push away, I'm a really close friends. Kick into the cooler.
I have an order on the app for
If you
Allison.
come by my house, could it really hit us?
Thank
Till
you.
the lights on my laptop burn up. You know I said I heard you, you know I said I heard you. It's undercover right now. Thinking how the fuck I'm in this somehow. Bite my tongue and drown it all out. Tired of the taste of blood.
In case you were wondering how my devil horns turned out, I think they're rather cute. Definitely some mistakes were made, but for my first time making this type of project, I'm pretty happy with them. And they're just a cute little thing to like wear to put my hair back whenever I'm doing my makeup. And I thought I would do a little casual get ready with me. Nowhere to go. I might film today. The lighting is already like not great, so I've kind of lost that window of time to film with natural day lighting, so it is what it is. But I have a book haul that I've been putting off that I really need to film, so I might do that today. Anyways, I am using the Cremated palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna play up some shades and do a smoky eye today while I talk to you guys about Onyx Storm. I think I'm landing at, I want to give it 4 stars because as soon as I finished this, I felt like I was at a 4-star. But upon like further research and like looking into things, theories, different opinions I've seen too, that I've just been like, oh yeah, you're right. Because I think I was so confused going into this book, not knowing certain people, and like I mentioned earlier, I should have done like a reread of the first 2. I definitely will. We have like a 2-year gap before the next book, so I definitely will. And who knows, maybe I'll change my ratings then. But for now, I think I am going to go with my gut of what I originally thought when I first finished and stick with a 4, although I feel like it's a low 4, almost a 3. And the reason I say that is honestly multiple things that I didn't really care for with this book now that I'm realizing stuff from the past 2 books and where this might be heading. Also, the type of book that this is, and again, I'm not like a high fantasy girly, so like I don't know enough about the fantasy genre and really what to expect, that I feel like I'm still having an okay time with it. But I will say, I feel like 50% of this book, I was really having a hard time like getting into it, or more so enjoying it than what I would have liked. I feel like by the time I was enjoying it, it was so fast paced and like, I would typically say a good way, but in this instance, I feel like so much of it was rushed, and I still just had this like feeling of, what did I just read? Like, there's so much going on, there's so much to follow that I don't know how I feel about this. It's hard to talk about because it's a 3rd book in a series, I think of 5 books. So we are hitting that middle ground right now where everything is kind of just being built up for where this book is going to go, where everything is going to land. And I don't know, there was just so many loose ends for me too. And I get like it's the middle of a series, so like I'm sure they'll be pieced together in the next book or last book, but I feel like it's just been an average series for me still. I don't think it's been anything super over the top or anything that I would personally call like an all-time favorite series. I give it credit for like getting me into a little fantasy era with the first book, but it's kind of become a series where like I just have to be in the mood for it. So for me, the series as a whole is a little overhyped. I don't feel like it is as good as people make it out to be, but with that being said, there's still things from this book that I still loved and appreciated, just like the past 2 books, and it's the dragons. I still love the dragons. I think there's a uniqueness there within the dragons, if you haven't started this series yet, that I do find really cool. I also appreciate, because one of my biggest downfalls from the first 2 books is the main character, Violet. I don't like how she presents herself or how she goes about things in general, and not even just like the relationship and romance aspect, but like the overall aspect in general. I think that there's a lot of really cool, relatable things about her as far as like her dealing with like a chronic illness and like those aspects of the story and other things that are kind of spoilery. But besides that, I just have never cared for this character. It literally is so hard to get through. I feel like especially the second book was so hard for me to get through because of this character. I will say, I feel like the author has definitely realized that or have seen that criticism, because she was not near as bad in this third book. I feel like I warmed up to the character so much more and didn't mind her as much. But with that being said, what I will say for people who have read the first two, maybe you haven't had the time to get to the third one like myself yet. What I didn't care for with this third one was the jump in characters as well. I seen an interview or something where they were talking about how she had mentioned something along the lines of like wanting to write more of a fantasy and not a romantasy. And you definitely get that more with this one, and I actually liked that aspect of it. But at the same time, I feel like from what she's built up with the first two, it felt a little off. Maybe I'll like it more come the fourth book, but I don't know. I'm just still left in this like, do I like this series or do I just not care? I just care about the dragons. So yeah, I'm landing at a 4 for now. Again, I want to circle back to this series in the future and do a whole reread and like invest the time that I just don't have right now for it. And it doesn't really matter since we're gonna be waiting like 2 years for the next book anyways. I do wonder during this time if she is just going to take a break or if she has something else up her sleeve that she's working on. That being said though, I'm super excited because my next book I'm jumping into is a highly anticipated. Ever since I've seen this cover, I was like, I need to read this. I think it was my friend Jess, who I've talked about quite a bit lately, who I think she got a NetGalley arc of this. It's Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. She was talking about it, and so I think she had just mentioned it was vampires or sapphic or something like that, and so I looked it up and I seen this cover and I was like, sold, I want to read that. And then Aardvark Book Club posted like their sneak peeks of it, and there was just like a glimpse of this cover, and I showed it to Jess and I was like, isn't this that one you showed me? And she was like, yeah, Hungerstone. She's like, I liked it. And here we are. I did pick it. It was their horror pick. I think they had a couple horror picks, which was really cool, but I did pick this for my February Aardvark, and I am so excited. I ended up skipping January's, not intentionally, but the book that I wanted sold out. I just ended up skipping the month. I'm kind of just trying to really build up my horror books with like horror books I've already read and loved, or authors I've read from and loved, or just ones I want to get to in general, because those typically land more for me than like other genres that they normally offer that I'm just like, I don't mind to just pick up those books that may seem interesting from like the library. So I did go with this one, but I'm super excited to jump into it. Honestly, don't know much about it or what it's about, but I am excited to dive in for my next prompt. I think it's just for one prompt. One aspect that's really cool is the fact that it's an early release from Aardvark. So it feels like I'm reading an ARC, although it is like the physical copy of it. But this book isn't out yet. I think it's like the 18th or 19th is when it's out, so I'll be able to finish it before then. So that's really cool. But because of that and its early release, there's no audiobook for it. And I'm wondering how beautiful the audiobook is going to be, but it is what it is. I'm going to be reading it with my eyeballs. And I think this is the look, a little sultry glam. I'm going to do red lip because I haven't for Valentine's Day yet. And I normally don't on Valentine's Day because I'm going to like school parties and stuff like that. So it's usually a lot milder looks for those days. But yeah, I'm going to pop on some mascara and do a red lip and call it a look.
And if I heard you wrong, you could put it on me.